One man was born into a house full of sprinters. The other one got cut from his high school basketball team and wandered onto a track with nothing better to do that winter. Both of them are standing on the same start lines today, chasing the same medals, and it raises one real question. Is speed something you're born with or something you build with your own two hands? We will get into both of their stories properly. But first you need to understand exactly where each one of them started because it could not be more different. Noah Lyles was born July 18th, 1997 in Gainesville, Florida, raised in Alexandria, Virginia. Both of his parents were track athletes. His older brother Josephus had that same natural speed running through him. This is a bloodline story from day one, and it wasn't a clean path either. He battled asthma as a kid, navigated ADHD, was homeschooled while dabbling in gymnastics, and still, even in casual races against family and friends, his natural speed and instinctive feel for racing showed up before any coach ever got their hands on him. By 8th grade, he was already ranked first in the nation in his class for the 200 and the high jump. At 17, he wins youth Olympic gold in the 200. He dominates the U.S. junior circuit, sets the 7th fastest junior 200-meter mark ever recorded. He skips college completely and signs an 8-year deal with Adidas straight out of high school. By 22, he's a world champion. Triple gold at the 2023 Worlds in Budapest. The first man to do that since Usain Bolt himself. Gold in the 100 at Paris 2024 and bronze in the 200 while literally testing positive for COVID 2 days before the final, needing a wheelchair the moment the race ended. Now here's something worth sitting with, because there's a real physical argument behind Lyles being fast, not just a story about bloodlines and belief. Analysts point to his naturally narrow frame, his limb-dominant build, his short torso, physical traits that let him spend less energy per stride than stockier competitors around him. That's a genetic advantage, plain and simple. But here's the part people conveniently skip. His start was historically a weakness, and he had to deliberately grind that liability into something merely average through years of dedicated work. So even with real genetic gifts sitting in his corner, he still had to build the rest by hand. And the cracks in this story prove that talent alone was never enough to keep him at the top. In 2020, he opens up publicly about depression, goes on antidepressants. In 2021, he comes off medication before Olympic trials because of low energy, still shows up, still wins nationally, but settles for Olympic bronze in Tokyo behind Kenny Bednarek and Andre DeGrasse. Then Tokyo 2025 happens, an ankle injury limits his training. Oblique Seville upsets him in the 100 final, his first major 100 loss since 2023. He still wins the 200 that same championship, but the aura of total invincibility is gone. Lyles is proof that even the most gifted sprinter alive still has to fight through injury, mental health struggles, and hungry rivals just to stay where he already was. Now flip completely to Sam Blascowski. Oshkosh, Wisconsin. No sprinting bloodline anywhere in the family, not even a dedicated track kid growing up. He played multiple sports without ever locking in on one. Senior year, he runs 10.83 and 21.99, wins 3 Wisconsin state titles, and every single Division I program in the country still passes on him. He ends up at Division III Wisconsin La Crosse, a school that legally cannot give him a single dollar of athletic scholarship money. He wins 11 individual D3 national titles there, sets the D3 national record in the 60 at 6.65, one of the best D3 careers this country has ever seen. And here's my honest opinion on that stretch. Even with all those titles, nobody actually knew if this was real elite talent the system had missed, or just the best of a shallow pond, because D3 times sit on a completely different planet from world-class times. After college, he wants the truth, so he takes a job at a small regional airport just to fund his own move to Florida, training under Dennis Mitchell at Star Athletics, alongside Christian Coleman, Kenny Bednarek, Sha'Carri Richardson, and Melissa Jefferson. The early adjustment nearly breaks him, puking on the fence during 300-meter repeats on day 2, no rest days, walk-back recovery only. 5 meets into the 2026 season, no personal best touched, never finishing higher than 3rd. Then May 30th happens, Music City Track Carnival in Cleveland, Tennessee, and he runs 9.89 seconds, win legal, skipping the entire 9.90 seconds bracket completely. That's the exact time Noah Lyles ran for bronze at the 2025 World Championships. Overnight, Sam is the fastest American in 2026, and his own words afterward credit years of sacrifice, hard work, discipline, and belief, nothing about being naturally gifted. So lay these two side by side and look at what you actually get. Lyles had the bloodline, the early dominance, real documented physical advantages, and he still had to outwork his weaknesses for over a decade just to defend his spot at the top. Blaskowski had none of that. No bloodline, no early recognition, not one Division I coach believing in him. And the only way up was self-funded sacrifice inside a brutal new training environment that finally unlocked whatever was already sitting inside him physically. I've seen people argue both sides of this constantly. Some look at a sub 9.80 split and call it pure talent, a gift plain and simple, while others insist genetics mean absolutely nothing without relentless work stacked on top of it. Honestly, neither side is fully wrong. Here's where I actually land on it. Talent decides where your starting line sits. Hard work decides how far past that line you're able to travel. Lyles proves that even a massive head start doesn't remove the need for constant, targeted work if you want to defend your position at the top for years. Blaskowski proves that a low starting point isn't a life sentence, because the right work in the right room can close a gap that once looked completely impossible. One of these stories is about defending a genetic advantage against time and hungry rivals. The other is about manufacturing an advantage from absolutely nothing. Two completely different starting points and somehow the same ending, standing on the same start line as the best sprinters alive. If you had to build a world-class sprinter from scratch, would you rather start with Lyles' genetics and teach the discipline, or start with Blaskowski's work ethic and just hope the talent eventually shows up? Drop your answer below. I read every single one. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and hit the bell for more sprint stories, training tips, and track highlights.